Just after dawn, an alert flashed. Unidentified aircraft, high speed, approaching restricted airspace. At Cold Lake, pilots scrambled, coffee forgotten, as the base went on high alert. Two CF-18 Hornets roared down the runway. This was no drill. The radar signature was sharp, fast, and unfamiliar. Not Canadian or American. Suddenly, a new encrypted message arrived. Stand down. Escort visitor to designated hangar. The Hornets shifted to escort formation, flanking the mysterious jet. The Gripen touched it down, guided to a secluded hangar by the Hornets. On the ground, curiosity and suspicion mixed in the icy air. The Gripen's arrival felt like a scene from a spy novel, a bold disruption to the established order. The contest for Canada's next fighter had just taken a dramatic turn. The hangar doors sealed the GripenE E from the biting wind. Inside, Canada's top fighter pilots circled the foreign jet. Their initial shock had hardened into skepticism. The Gripen looked smaller, almost delicate, with a single engine, a point of immediate concern. "It's a sports car," one pilot muttered. "But can it survive a night at -40? The pilots scrutinized every detail, comparing it to their trusted CF-18s. Canada's operational realities were brutal vast distances, extreme cold, rugged airfields. Major Vince Ali, slated to fly the Gripen, ran a gloved hand along its wing, his doubts clear. The Swedish team stood by, letting the Canadians look, touch, and whisper. Their lead engineer, Lars, simply smiled. He'd heard it all before. Pilots everywhere trusted what they knew, and were wary of the new. Lars knew the jet would have to prove itself, not in conversation, but in the crucible of a Cold Lake winter. The Canadian skepticism was about more than performance, it was about survival. The Gripen was an enigma, full of advanced tech but unproven in their world. The proof would come soon enough, in the only way that mattered, on the flight line. The stage was set for a test that would challenge every assumption. The next morning, the Canadian team met the Swedes in a tense briefing. Lieutenant Colonel Dubois cut to the chase. "Your jet looks good on paper, but our winters are brutal. Can it handle the cold?" Lars, the Swedish engineer, brought up a Gripen operating from a snow-covered highway in northern Sweden. "Sweden isn't the Mediterranean," he said. "Our winters are long and severe. The Gripen was born from this environment." He detailed the jet's rugged features: a powerful APU for cold starts, robust de-icing, and hydraulics designed for deep cold. "Our ground crews must service and rearm the jet quickly in snow, wearing thick gloves. Everything is designed for simplicity and reliability." The Canadians listened, their skepticism shifting to cautious interest. The Swedes weren't selling specs, they were talking about survival in the cold. Lars issued a challenge. "Let us show you. Not with slides, but on your flight line. Let the Gripen prove itself here, in your winter." The Canadians agreed. The test would be real, and the stakes were high. The Gripen would have to survive a Canadian night and start in the morning. No excuses. The Swedes were confident. The Canadians were curious, but unconvinced. The coming demonstration would be the true test. The room emptied, anticipation thick in the air. The Gripen was about to face the north. The outcome would speak louder than any briefing. The trial was on. The GripenE E was left outside overnight, exposed to -38 degrees Celsius. The Canadians expected it to fail, even their CF-18 struggled in such cold. At dawn, teams gathered, breath visible in the icy air. A single Swedish technician approached the frozen jet. No heaters, no power cards, just a laptop. The Canadians watched, skeptical. One person, with a laptop. Minutes later, the technician gave a thumbs up. The APU whined to life, then the main engine roared. No sputtering, no hesitation. The Gripen was alive, ready in under 10 minutes. The Canadians stood speechless. Their own jets needed hours and a small army to do the same. The demonstration shattered their doubts. The Gripen had passed the first, most brutal test. The Swedes had made their point. This jet was built for the cold. The Canadian skepticism began to thaw. The cold start was just the beginning. The Swedes demonstrated a full combat turnaround. Refuel, rearm, reload. In under 20 minutes, 3 young technicians worked with practiced efficiency, using simple tools designed for gloved hands. The Gripen's access panels opened easily. Components neatly organized. Missiles and cannon were loaded quickly. The engine kept running via the APU. The pilot stayed in the cockpit, ready for the next mission. The Canadians watched, stunned. Their CF-18s needed over an hour and twice the crew. The Gripen shattered their expectations of fighter maintenance. The sports car was proving to be a rally champion. The Swedes hadn't just made a point, they'd changed the game. The Canadians realized their old ways might be obsolete. The Gripen was redefining what was possible. The competition had just gotten real. Major Vince Ali climbed into the Gripen's cockpit, struck by its elegant, intuitive layout. Gone were the cluttered gauges of the CF-18. In their place, a single wide-area display, a digital canvas. The Swedish instructor guided him through the basics. With a few taps, Ali could customize the display, fusing radar, sensors, and tactical data. The Gripen did the mental work for him, presenting a clear, unified picture of the battle space. As they took off, the jet leaped into the air, agile and eager. The instructor pointed to a contact on the display. "That's from our data link, not radar. Now, watch the IRST." With a button press, the passive sensor locked onto the target. No emissions, no warning. Ali was amazed. The Gripen systems prioritized threats, suggested tactics, and managed electronic warfare automatically. He felt less like a pilot wrestling with systems, more like a commander orchestrating a battle. The cognitive load was dramatically reduced. Ali could focus on tactics, not troubleshooting. It was a generational leap. His beloved Hornet suddenly felt ancient. The Gripen wasn't just a new jet, it was a new way to fight. Ali knew, even before landing, that nothing in Canada's inventory could match this. The future had arrived, and it was Swedish. The final test, a mock dogfight, 2 CF-18s versus the Gripen E, flown by Major Ali. First, a beyond visual range engagement. The Hornets tried to bracket the Gripen, but Ali saw it all on his display. The Gripen's electronic warfare suite detected the Hornets' radars, countered them, and tracked both jets passively. Ali lined up simulated shots, Fox 3 on both Hornets, before they even knew he was there. Next, a close-range dogfight. The Hornet pilots, confident in their jet's agility, pressed in. But the Gripen's digital flight controls and canard delta wing made it nimble and unpredictable. Ali pulled high-G maneuvers, out-turning the Hornets and scoring simulated gun kills. The fight was over quickly. The single Gripen had defeated 2 Hornets, both at range and up close. The Canadians were stunned. The Gripen had proven itself not just in the cold, but in combat. The old assumptions were gone. The outsider had become the benchmark. The debate was no longer theoretical. The Gripen had changed everything. After landing, silence filled the debriefing room. The Hornet pilots, beaten and bewildered, replayed the flight tapes. The Gripen had been ahead at every turn, controlling the fight, outmaneuvering them, and staying invisible. One pilot, a former skeptic, broke the silence. "I never saw him. In the merge, he just appeared where I wasn't looking." He looked at Major Ali, not with resentment, but respect. "Vince, what was it like?" Ali tried to explain. "It was like playing a video game while you guys played chess, by mail. The jet did the work, I just flew and fought." He described the helmet display, the seamless integration, the mental clarity. The room's mood shifted from shock to admiration. These were pilots. They respected performance above all. The skepticism of days before had vanished. The Gripen was no longer a foreign curiosity, it was the new standard. The question now, why wasn't this jet Canada's top choice? The demonstration had spoken louder than any sales pitch. The pilots' opinions had been turned upside down. The Gripen had earned their respect, and their voices would carry. The results of the Cold Lake trial didn't stay secret for long. Whispers spread through the RCAF, then to journalists and politicians. Initial reports were dismissed as rumor, but the details were too consistent to ignore. The story of the cold start, the rapid turnaround, and the dogfight win began to circulate. Opposition politicians demanded answers in Parliament. Why wasn't the Gripen being considered? The government tried to downplay the trial, but the debate exploded. Editorials questioned the procurement process. Was Canada choosing the best jet, or just the safest political option? The Gripen, once an outsider, was now central to the conversation. Its lower cost and proven performance became major talking points. The trial had created a rift tradition versus operational reality. The secret test at Cold Lake had become a political firestorm.